last night, and as a result, the AFC playoff picture is jam-packed. Look at the wild cards. Chargers, Bills, Jaguars are there, but the Texans are hunting and the Chiefs are hunting and the Ravens are looking to win their division. They will need the Steelers to lose some games in order to do that. And while Pittsburgh is currently in that playoff picture, that division is very much up for grabs. There's Aaron Rodgers. We know he's got the left wrist injury, fractured bone in that wrist. He returned to practice yesterday, limited ahead of Sunday's game against the Bears. And as Rodgers has said many times, he owns the Bears. His record backs that up. He's 25-5 against Chicago in his career. Fifth most wins by any quarterback against any opponent since 1950. So, a lot to get to in this game, Pittsburgh and Chicago on Sunday. Fascinating interconference game. Let's start with the left wrist. You're a quarterback. You've got a fractured bone in your non-throwing hand. I think the most people I know think Rodgers is going to play. How impacted do you think he is by the injury?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that impacted. I think Aaron's dealt with a lot of stuff before. It mostly will be handoffs. They've gone under center a decent amount this year. Can they continue to do that? And then the second thing is handing the ball off. Yeah, how consistently can he, to his right, hand the ball off? It'll probably have to be a two-handed handoff rather than just a left hand. I don't believe this affects his willingness to play or ability to play. This is a guy that doesn't throw the football downfield right now anyway. I don't think it's going to change that. He's not going to hold on the ball and hang in the pocket, that's whether injured or not.
You know where it comes into account is that's his brace hand. So he carries the ball in his right hand. So what is he going to do? If you don't put your hand down and brace, you get a concussion because your head bounces off the turf.
Yeah.
So if I'm a defender, I'm tackling his arms, right?
Let me ask you this. Would you not, as a defender, just play significantly closer to the ball? Like, you know he wants to get the ball out of his hands naturally, but he's now injured. He doesn't want to get hit at all.
Well, if I'm a corner, I'm just going to squat on everything because you squat on everything against him anyway. So I'm jumping around, so interceptions are up. And if I'm a defensive lineman, I know the ball's coming out, so I'm doing Jared Goff. I'm batting it up in the air.
Yeah.
But if I do get to him, will he be willing to put that hand down to brace himself in fear of breaking it again? Because he's probably going to have some brace on it. And those braces are hard, and you fall, they can dig into your hand and hurt yourself anyway.
Joe had an interesting gambling angle on this game on just how significant Las Vegas views Aaron Rodgers as being.
This situation 10 years ago, Rodgers being in or out would have been a 7-point move for the line. Like, he meant that much. He was the guy. No one moved a point spread more than him. Now, half a point. I talked to two bookmakers in Vegas yesterday. They said they'd move it maybe half a point. Part of that is because Rudolph has plenty of experience and can run this offense, but that's where we are now with Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. He's worth about half a point to the spread versus Rudolph.
And then on the other side, you get this young Chicago team led by this young quarterback who is clearly ascending. They find themselves in first place in what at one point we thought was the best division in the entire sport. Harry has some tape. What are we seeing right now in the young quarterback?
I think you see a guy who has progressed very, very well. And number one, he is playing within the confines of the offensive system, but then being extraordinary when it's asked of him. You're going to see Rome Odunze run a deep in cut. Great job playing under center, play fake, get the ball out of his hands. Let me move up in the pocket, but watch the location. He saves Rome Odunze from a big hit on Harrison Smith right there. So I love that play. Now, this next play is going to be, hey, be extraordinary when we want you to be or when the play asks you to be. This is a corner cat blitz. This guy's going to come scot-free. Watch Caleb Williams. This should be a negative play. It should be a sack. He turns it into a positive, gains 6 yards. That's what I'm talking about, Greeny. When the play asks you to be extraordinary and be dynamic, be that guy that won a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the reality is that since Patrick Mahomes took over the NFL, everyone has been trying to find the guy who has Mahomesian traits.
Don't do it, Dan.
In no way, let me be very, very clear. In no way am I suggesting Caleb Williams is now Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is on his way to maybe being the greatest quarterback of all time. Caleb Williams is ascending in year 2. But the stuff that you see, those magical plays, getting out of that trouble, running and still making the big play downfield, doing some of that magic stuff that rises above the X's and O's. The reason that he was the first pick in the draft, we are seeing it on display.
Well, he's also doing it when he has to rather than when he wants to.
That part.
That's the development. I mean, Caleb, and that's why I said earlier this week, he's trending towards becoming a problem solver rather than a problem creator. He's so talented physically, and he's such a ridiculous athlete that he would often run around just because he wanted to, or he felt like he could, and it would create a lot of negative plays and habits. That's gone away for the most part. And then there's 3 or 4 times a game where he has to, where there's only 6 or 8 guys in the league that can make something out of that play. I used to call them hidden yards. They're now called bonus yards. He had 68 of them this past week, where the play that it's an 8-yard sack becomes a 7-yard gain. That's 15 yards of difference there. So yeah, and the play action passing element of the game has absolutely gone high.
Joe, why do you like the Steelers plus the points?
These two are perfect for each other. These are the two ultimate luck box teams. What you're seeing from Chicago this year, they're learning how to win. They deserve a lot of credit, but there's a difference between what they're doing and what Detroit's doing, and they've got similar records. So I look at Chicago, I think, there's going to be some turnover regression. On the other side, Pittsburgh's been doing it for like 6 years. At some point, it's going to drop off. So I'll take the points. Tomlin as a dog historically has been solid.
Give me quickly, Bart, why do you like Chicago?
I think just ultimately with Rodgers being injured, not being able to generate enough points, I think Caleb Williams' legs late in the game is going to be paramount. You know, he's been able to really buy time with his legs and be more aggressive running the ball when the play breaks down.
Okay, so we've got that game coming up. Much more on the NFL games, but every Football Friday, I want to make sure you're ready for the big.
That we have question marks surrounding. It's still a formidable opponent with Mike Tomlin as the head coach. You advance to 8-3. The Packers are playing the Vikings, which is a consequential division game, and we never know what version of the Packers we're going to get week to week. And the Lions, even though we think they're a better team than the New York Giants, and the game is in Detroit, the Giants have been a tough out, and we're wondering if Jackson Dart's going to play. So what if the Lions lose to the Giants and the Packers lose to the Vikings? If you're the Bears, you have an opportunity to gain some ground here and really establish yourself in a different way. This is a big, big game for the Bears.
It is. It's a big game for both teams, and I've started to think about, you know, I was questioning what Rodgers meant yesterday 2 days ago with the whole, you know, it's not pain, it's safety, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is this just a word choice thing
he
again?
He loves an enigma wrapped in a riddle. We know this.
But then I started to think about, I have 1 year left. I don't care the pain. I have to ignore it. I'm just going to play through it. I'm going to play all 17. I'm going to try to make a run with this team, and then I'm going to hang it up. Like, I can't sit out games. I wonder if that, CC, is the mindset. And I wonder, in your experience playing 11 years, winning a Super Bowl in the league, if you've seen guys where you're like, dude, you are like really banged up, where then you realize, oh, I get it, because he ain't playing after this year, and he's going to literally leave every body part on the field in order to play a full season the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that baked in there, Ev. And Aaron Rodgers also wants to prove everybody wrong that criticized him waiting so late in the calendar to latch on to a team, questioning whether or not he was capable of ever recapturing that greatness that we've seen once upon a time when he was in Green Bay. So I think there's a lot of that baked into him pushing to want to get out there and play. But I'm sitting here looking at the Chicago Bears, y'all. It would be an upset if the Bears didn't make the playoffs. 10 seems to be the magic number under this new format with the regular season expanding to 17 games. The Chicago Bears need 3 more wins over their next 7 games, and they have a game this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who might be without Aaron Rodgers, which means Mason Rudolph would be up. Right. And they have a date against the Cleveland Browns, and you got 2 against the Green Bay Packers, who have proven over and over again that they can lose to anybody. It just feels like if the Chicago Bears at this point don't get to the postseason,